Can you trust what you read on Reddit? Hi and welcome. If you're new, welcome. I hope that we can earn your subscription today. Reddit. Reddit can be a good place. Reddit reminds me a lot of FidoNet echoes, of which I both created a number of, moderated a number of, and actually acted as one of the backbones for transferring all the Echo stuff around. And I had some ideas of trying to do something like Reddit, and actually had my BBS bringing all the Echo areas in, but I never carried it further, and I digress. But I have a lot of experience in this area going all the way back to CompuServe in the late 80s. Again, I moderated a WUGNet, Windows Users Group Network. I moderated the Windows NT group and acted as a moderator of the Windows group there. So I've had a long time experience of dealing with this kind of stuff. And here is a message about, or a post about Otterbox quality. And that triggered me because I like the Otterbox Riveter case. I recommend it. And if there are issues, I want to know. Most of the stuff I just blow off because it's a comment. Quality is cheap or whatever. Okay, but this one had pictures. So let's take a look. Okay, on Reddit, we saw this post. And this was all there was. These two pictures and the title saying Otterbox case quality and a frowny face. So that leads one to believe that what we see in the second picture here is an issue with Otterbox. So let's take a look. Because we really had no context, an individual asked, could we get some context for the pictures? I am interested in your experience with this case. How did the damage happen? How well did it protect your Duo? Now, just like me, this individual saw the picture and figured something was done to the Duo, because maybe a single impact, or Duo 2, I should say. Now, the OP, he responded, or she, I put it in my pocket 2 days in a row, and I started to get rid of some corners. Okay, now that's questionable. That needs more context, I thought. So I asked, how many times would you say you took it in and out of your pocket during those 2 days? The response was 16 hours work on 2 days, maybe 80 times. Okay. So I really wanted to know a little bit more. Was it a front or rear pocket? What was the orientation? Now, the reason I'm asking these questions are I'm going to simulate what happened. Is the damage where you grab to pull out, or did it happen in the pocket? So that end is deep down in the pocket. And the reason I want to know this is I recommend this device. This is, I think, a great case for the Duo 2. If there's things I need to know about that may alter that recommendation, I want to know. And as a user, I want to know. So I did ask one other point. I'm not going to put it here. If there were any chemicals or something, just trying to get the full context. The answer was no. And the answer to this question was front pocket. Now, I asked some other questions, but never got any further replies, other than one individual telling me to back off and end it, and he wasn't happy with it. And this isn't about liking the device or disliking the device. This is simply trying to understand what caused this damage. So what did I do? I put the device in my pocket in and out of my pocket 80 times first. Didn't see anything. And I said, well, okay, these are jogging pants. And I had to go somewhere, so I put my jeans on and I started putting it in and out of my pocket with the jeans on. Another 80 times. I didn't see anything. Threw it in my back pocket, which is normally where I carry it. And I went out with my family. They took me out for my birthday. So I carried it in my back pocket, and every time I could think, I put it in and out, in and out, in and out, walking to the car, getting out of the car. I actually got asked why was I putting it in and taking it out and putting it back in without even looking at it. And that was so that I could simulate to see could I create this kind of damage. And there's a picture you can see of mine on the left in the same area on the right. And the other part of the other corner looks just like that one, as did the other corner of this one. It didn't really show any damage either. Just the damage seemed to be right here. Now I did change my orientation around. I tried mainly to make certain when I pulled the device, I was pressing with my thumb in the area that you see here. Because really that's, as we'll see, that's just not a going in and out of the pocket damage that we see there. So just to kind of recap that, put it in and out of his pocket 2 days in a row. This damage is supposed to have occurred with that. So I really wanted to take a deeper look. So I dropped it into Photoshop, zoomed in, exported out. And what I can see here is there's a long continuous impression there. And we'll look further at a few things, but that was suspicious. Then as I looked at it further, look up in the upper right, you can see how it goes down and comes back up. The little hole area that you see there, that's, though it's distorted now from this impression, and you can see how there's kind of like a continuous line that starts from the bottom down here, that kind of whitish line that follows the bottom of the oval there and goes up into that circle area. That's one continuous line there. Something single event caused that. And that got distorted up there in the upper right. There is, as you saw in the original picture, there is from the manufacturer a little area there. And I don't know if that's like maybe a relief area for air. I need to look into that more. I'm sorry, I don't know more about that. And oddly enough, this really caught my attention. So what I saw was a triangle there. There's no triangle in this area on my device. And 80 times in and out is not going to create a triangle. You're going to be lucky. Let's say you were hitting something. I would see imperfections in that triangle if that were the result, because you could not put it exactly to the same point that pressure might occur every time. That's not realistic. Now there is no bottom to the triangle, but the two lines are equal. It's a distinct angle. All that looks to be purpose off of something else that impressed into this, not by putting it in your pocket. And then we have this impression. At first I thought it was separate. Then I got to thinking maybe it's not, because of that other continuous line that I mentioned that goes from this damage area. And actually it starts out to the left of this, where you kind of see where it goes up and ends, and I showed that whole line that whole impression in the first photo. And it just looks like maybe this area of wherever this impression occurred had a bump on it, little ball or something, and just caused a little bit more damage. So now I'm like, there's no way this happened by putting it in and out of your pocket. Finally, this damage here is what I'm calling a chip away, and that's something struck it, or it struck something that was able to dig in and chip this away. And understand that this rubber is not, they have tested this rubber for lotions and all kinds of things that humans put on their hands. I could see something happening, sticking it into a pocket with keys and maybe causing that, but you'd really have to jam it in there because this material is rather strong. It's not a rigid material, but it's still very, that's not an easy damage you could make to that rubber. There's obviously more to this story than we were given by the author. Was it in their pocket and they fell? They sat down on something, had it in the back pocket and sat down on something. This is not damage consistent with insertion into and out of a pocket. This damage is from force. And it would really be nice to know how the device survived this. Did the device survive? So did it do its job and protect the device? Well, that's a pretty big drop. I don't think I could drop the device from 4 foot as it was tested and create that kind of damage. I think that's impossible. I just don't see that happening. What else could cause it? I think it's got to be it's laying, maybe it is in the pocket, and a tremendous amount of weight. Or we'll just equate everything into physics, and there's a tremendous amount of force here that was put on the device to create that damage that we see here. What was it? What caused it? It would be nice to know so users could be aware of what can cause this, but also what happened to the device when this happened. Okay, now that you've seen that, I don't know if that's a debunk because I really don't know what the user did, what happened to cause this, but I'm positive that putting this in your pocket with the case on is not going to cause that. I don't care how many times you do it. It's not going to cause it. Well, I shouldn't say that. 1 billion times, it's not going to do that kind of damage, but it might start wearing away. But that wear is going to be consistent across the area that it's wearing and not have these deep impressions that we see here that are consistent with some kind of force being applied. So I don't know if you found the video good. I don't know that it's helpful. Hopefully you understand that you shouldn't take Reddit posts at face value all the time. You need to understand more context. And part of that context can be the person making the post. If they've developed a reputation of providing you consistently good information, then you should somewhat trust it, but then you still might want to do a little research. I'm a research person. If I see something and I don't understand it, I try to understand it. Most things like this are going to trigger me into wanting to know. That's just my nature. So I hope you found the video useful. I'm going to do more of these. And comment, tell me what you think. So those likes are good if you found it useful. Subscriptions are awesome. We need more subscriptions. Thanks for watching.